Hi, good morning guys, and welcome back. I'm going to consider this to be a bonus video because it doesn't really fit into any of my normal kind of video constructs. It is still going to be a dinner recipe video, but I didn't really stick to any particular budget. I was just trying to make quick and relatively inexpensive family-friendly meals. So for context, my stepkids were here for spring break. I have two. There's an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. And so I wanted to make meals that I thought that the kids would enjoy. So I have this thing called What's for Dinner, and it's basically where I go through on the internet and I find a bunch of kid-friendly meal ideas, and I write them down on little pieces of paper and I fold them up and I stick them in like a cup or a box or something like that. And so every day the kids get to draw what's for dinner that night. And of course I've kind of pre-planned the meals. I've already done the grocery shopping for most of them. I know what I have, so I usually have all the ingredients I need to make whatever it is that I have put in the cup. But the kids really enjoy it. They like being able to pick out what's for dinner each day. It's something fun for them to look forward to. And rather than being told what's for dinner, it kind of leaves it up to chance. So they have a lot of fun with it, and so that's kind of what I do. So I filmed 3 of the dinners that I made this past week, and I want to share them with you all. Maybe they'll help some of you come up with ideas, especially when you're feeding kids. It's a totally different ballpark than just feeding yourself or your significant other. When you put kids in the mix, things get a little bit more hectic and a little bit more picky. So with all that being said, let's just jump right in. So the first dinner that was picked was mini tacos, and I was actually really excited about this one. I started by cooking the side because I was making rice and I knew that was going to take the longest. I'm using a box of Zatarain's yellow rice. This is the family-sized box, and I added that into my rice cooker along with 2 cans of Mexican-style corn. Honestly, though, this Mexican-style corn's about twice the price of regular corn and not really impressive, so I would probably just use regular corn in hindsight. My rice cooker comes with this little cup that you use to measure the rice and the water, and it actually is 3/4 of a cup, not a full cup. So I added 4 of these, which ends up being about 3 cups, and it was perfect. I set it to white rice, and then I turned it on and kind of walked away and waited for it to almost be done cooking before I started on my tacos. For the tacos, I'm using these frozen mini tacos in the beef and cheese flavor. This was around $6 for the whole box. You can also use taquitos, but I think I got these because they were cheaper, and I also thought they were just adorable. It actually came with several tacos in the box. It came with about 25 or so, which was perfect for our family of 4. I baked these at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes, flipping halfway through, and then I did drain them on a towel because they were a little on the greasy side. I gave each of the kids some sour cream for dipping their little tacos in, and I put some rice on each of the plates. I did top each of the rice with some Mexican blend cheese, and that was a mistake on my part because it turns out the kids don't like cheese on their rice. Of course, Michael and I enjoy the cheese. And then for the adult tacos, I did dress those up with some salsa, some sour cream, a little bit more of that shredded Mexican cheese, and then I put some minced onion on mine and some jalapeno slices on Michael's, and I served the kids with some tortilla chips on the side. All in all, the kids enjoyed this dish, but I did have to get them some fresh rice that did not have cheese on it. The next day we dyed some Easter eggs, so I had to make deviled eggs, and you'll have to forgive me here because I did have a time lapse of me actually making the deviled eggs, but I cleaned out some footage on my phone the other day, and I must have deleted that clip as well because it's no longer on my phone, so just pretend you're watching me make deviled eggs right now. This night, the kids picked chicken sandwiches out of the What's for Dinner jar, which is one of my favorite easy weeknight dinners. I use frozen chicken patties, and I cooked up 5 of them because me and each of the kids would have 1, and Michael would have 2. Try to only cook what I need when I need. I roasted up some broccoli on the side. I had this bag of frozen broccoli florets, and first I put it in the microwave for 3 minutes just to thaw it, and then I put it on a sheet pan. I tossed it in some oil, salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder, and I tossed that in the oven next to the chicken patties, and so once the chicken patties were done, the broccoli was also done. I buttered and toasted some hamburger buns, and this time I was more cautious about asking the kids what they wanted on their chicken sandwiches rather than making assumptions, and one of the kids only wanted cheese, and the other one was fine with cheese, pickles, and sauce. Of course, on mine and Michael's, I also put cheese, pickles, and sauce. I'm using Chick-fil-A sauce here. Buying this at the store saves us a ton of money. We're totally fine with not going to Chick-fil-A for the sake of just having Chick-fil-A sauce in the house. And then, of course, I served this with the broccoli on the side and some chips. The kids enjoyed the chicken sandwiches, but they were more interested in eating the deviled eggs. The third what's for dinner was Dad's choice, and Dad chose breakfast for dinner, and his favorite breakfast for dinner is French toast. So I'm going to show you how I make my favorite French toast, and it starts out with this brioche bread. This is the Nature's Own sliced brioche, and it's a little bit more expensive, so it is a splurge, but it makes the most fantastic French toast, so it is totally worth the extra price. The best French toast is made with stale bread, and I usually mimic this by either just putting these slices of bread in a cold oven and I leave it there overnight, or if I need to do it in a rush, I'll turn the oven on to a low temperature and just let it dry out the bread. I'm doubling my custard recipe since I'm making an entire loaf of bread, so I'm using 3 cups of half and half, and to this I'm adding 6 egg yolks. I'm going to set the whites aside for the scrambled eggs later. I also add a half a cup of brown sugar, some vanilla extract, and about a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then you just whisk this all together. Since our bread is dry, you need to give it time to really soak up that custard. You can't just do a quick dunk. You need to submerge the bread and hold it there for about 30 seconds to a minute per side. Think about it like when you dunk an Oreo and you're waiting for that moment when the Oreo becomes like kind of soft and submerged in milk. That's kind of the same process here. And then just fry it for about 3 minutes per side until it's perfectly golden brown. And when I'm making a big batch like this, I like to turn on my oven and heat it up to a really low temperature, about 170 to 200 degrees, and I'll transfer the French toast once it's cooked into the oven just to keep it warm until I've finished all of the slices. I also served this with scrambled eggs, so I had the 6 egg whites from when I made the French toast, and I added 6 whole eggs. I also added a splash of the half and half and some black pepper, and then I just scrambled this all together. Everyone in the family likes peanut butter and syrup on their French toast. I also had some strawberries and some bananas that I needed to use up before they went bad, which was the perfect side for breakfast for dinner. And then everyone likes ketchup on their eggs, so I did that as well. And the kids absolutely devoured this. No surprise there. So there are the 3 dinners that I made for the kids. They were actually here for 4 nights total, but on the 4th night we went out to hibachi, like a all-you-can-eat buffet thing. The kids really enjoy that. So for those of you who are wondering, I do eat out from time to time. I get that question sometimes. Yes, I do eat out. It's not very frequent. It's too far away. Again, I live in the country. The closest thing I have to me is a gas station that sells burgers. It's called Sheetz. Some of you may have something like a QT or a Wawa. It's basically like that. But that's really the only thing I have that I can go get a hot meal without having to drive 25 to 30 minutes. To give you guys an idea, I do not technically live in an area that the USDA classifies as food desert, but it is pretty close to being a food desert. So where I live in the country, and the closest thing to me is a Dollar General. From there I have Dollar Tree, and then further than that I have Food Lion, and then even further than that I have Walmart. I get some requests to do like Aldi meals and things like that, but Aldi is about 35 to 40 minutes away from me. It's relatively inaccessible for me. It might be something I do in the future, but that's pretty much what I have available to me is Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Food Lion, and Walmart. So I do hope you guys enjoyed that, and thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon.